Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman & Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
Mark, I got a little bit of history here, and I don't know how much you're into video games and that sort of thing, but 41 years ago, July 9th, 1981. Hard to believe that was 41 years ago.
Wow.
But, in 1981, Nintendo released Donkey Kong, featuring the debut of Mario. Are you familiar with that?
I am. I played Donkey Kong not in a long time, but I can't believe it's been 40 years.
How about Mario Brothers?
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to think about.
Nintendo,
how
all that stuff. Yeah.
All that stuff has come. Anything having to do with technology has come such a long way in the last 40 years.
It has, but it seems like everything from the 80s seems to keep coming back.
Yeah.
So it was a popular decade.
It's like a boomerang or something.
Right.
It keeps bouncing back.
Right.
Hey, in politics especially, there are lots of scandals. Mm-hmm. And, in show business, same thing. Let's talk about living a scandal-free retirement. If you take a close look at most folks' financial situations, you'll find that it's almost scandalous how badly their financial matters have been handled. Let's talk about the steps that people should take to create a scandal-free retirement.
Okay.
First of all, and we'll use some scandal-like terms here. Impeach consumer debt. What do we mean by that?
Well, that's mainly credit card debt. I mean, there's certain debt that's okay. I think mortgages are okay, even though mortgage rates have come up. Hopefully people refinanced and purchased at lower rates. Rates have almost doubled, I think, in some cases for some people. But, credit card debt, which, the raise of interest rates, the Fed keeps raising interest rates. Credit card debt rates have keep going up, and I know credit card balances have gone up. We are a country of debt, unfortunately. But that's the worst debt that you can have. The rates are high. You can't write off the interest. Credit card debt will eat you up. And if you're playing the game where you're paying off one with the other and doing all that stuff, there's got to be a way to get out of it. But if you can, live within your means, and which is easier said than done, I know, but get into a habit of saving for people that are just starting off, you're going to be in a much better place. But, eliminating, credit card debt is probably one of the worst things that you could have.
Yeah, that's for sure. Also, when you hear about a political scandal, especially these days, it often starts with a leak. Somebody has leaked some kind of information. Stop the leaks in your budget. How about that?
Yeah, and so we do financial planning, as we've mentioned many times, and so understanding what somebody's spending, and we don't use budget, we use a spending plan because it sounds a lot better. It's the same kind of thing, though, and we're not trying to have you keep on a budget. It's just understanding what you're spending. And a lot of people, may realize this, may not realize, they don't have no idea where their money's going. So it's understanding. We have worksheets that we can work with and give clients and have them fill out, and so many people are unaware of where their money's going. Some people keep great records. We have some engineer clients who have Excel spreadsheets and stuff and know exactly where every penny is. But there's a lot of people that don't know where the money is, and looking for ways to save or things that you may be able to cut out of your budget or spending plan, whatever term you want, can help move those monies to retirement accounts or other savings plans to build those up, rather than spending money on things that you didn't realize you were spending money on that maybe aren't as important as you think they might be.
Mm-hmm. Here's one that we talk about a lot: obstruction of justice. You hear about that in the news all the time. I guess in order to live a scandal-free retirement, you should obstruct your catastrophic market losses, because those can be really deadly.
Well, and that's the problem with having too much in one sector or one stock, particularly people that have a lot of tech that put all their money into even just individual equities or just buying, tech funds or tech ETFs, whatever it might be. Those are going to be volatile, and if you can't handle that volatility, that could be a problem, because you don't really technically lose until you've sold. If you stay invested, I know it's only on paper and easier said than done, and stay the course and all these things people are saying, but being in the right portfolio, and that's the reason why we're big proponents of globally diversified portfolios, not putting it all in U.S., having some international. International, believe it or not, has done better than the U.S. in a lot of places. losses this year. So that's why we globally diversify. It reduces the risk and can enhance the return when those are performing better than the U.S. is, but also dividing among sectors, not having everything in technology or growth, which has been very hot the last several years, but putting things into value in other areas that tend to do better this year than other areas have. So you can avoid some of those catastrophic losses by having a diversified portfolio. You're not going to eliminate losses, but you can certainly eliminate the sharp downturns.
We've all heard a lot about whistleblowers, and whistleblowers are always, made to look terrible, and, the people that they're, telling things about normally try and find evidence to make them look bad and make them, untrustworthy and all this kind of thing. But I guess you should blow the whistle on unnecessary or excessive fees. And I know that's something we also talk about a lot on this show.
Yeah, we do a fee analysis as part of our planning process, and nobody works for free, including us. But the fees got to be reasonable, and you should understand what those fees are. If you don't know what you're paying, you don't know what value you're receiving. So it's hard to determine value, like I said, if you don't know exactly what you're paying. It's not what it costs, but what it's worth, as we tell people. And again, nobody works for free, including us. But understanding what those fees are, a lot of people have no idea what they're paying inside, like mutual fund expenses. Some firms' management fees are on the higher end too. As I tell people, we're not the cheapest, we're not the most expensive, we're right in the middle, and you don't want to work with the cheapest. So, understanding those sorts of things is important. Being sold an expensive product, whether it's an annuity, a variable annuity, whatever it might be, some of those have hidden fees that a lot of people aren't aware of, so it's understanding those as well. So just be careful.
Usually you hear the word collude. Somebody colluded with somebody else, and, it has a negative context. But in this case, it's a good one. Collude with a good advisor. And I would suggest that you collude with Mark Silverman to get you to and through retirement.
Like I said, we're not the fit for everybody, but for the people that we are a good fit for, I think we do a great job. We're always striving to be better. But having a thinking partner, an advisor, a financial advisor, some of the people call us, it's having somebody on your side that's looking out for your best interest at all times so you don't have to go at it alone. And like I've said before, clients need us now more when the markets are negative than they do when the markets are positive. And it's really walking through and having conversations and reassuring people, holding hands, whatever you want to call it, to help guide our clients to make sure they don't make a mistake, which a lot of times people do in these times where they want to get out of the market or they sell or they do something foolish, because once you get out, you've got to guess twice. Even if you guess the bottom, you've got to figure out when you're going to get back in. And if you guess too soon or guess wrong, you could get in at the wrong time and you might miss the upside, which a lot of people do, and you'll never fully recover. So it's working with someone that you can trust, that's going to be there for you, that's going to provide good communication, that can guide you through this process in both good times and especially in bad.
Yeah. If you'd like to have a conversation with Mark Silverman about your situation, I'm going to give you the number in just a moment here. But, Mark, there are people who've been listening to this show for years and haven't gotten around to making that phone call. Why would you say that they need to do it today?
Well, timing is everything. And like I've said, reaching out, it just opens the dialogue. I'm not promising to be a perfect fit for everybody. I think we are a great fit for the right people. So with that being said, we won't know until we had a conversation. And having a dialogue, whether it's with me or another advisor, there's no better time than now given what the markets are doing, so you don't make a rash decision and do something you're going to regret later on. Having that conversation and finding out if maybe we are a good fit, maybe there's another firm that's a good fit, I can at least point you in the right direction of maybe somebody that might be better suited. Whatever it might be, if anything I've said makes sense or resonates with you, I encourage you to reach out, invest 15 to 20 minutes on a phone call. And, I try to advise everybody appropriately as far as giving you something that you can take away from there to make your situation better. And so that can't be done unless you reach out.
You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601, or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money.
Did you know that Mark Silverman also has a radio show? Tune in to Saving with Silverman Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on AM 790 KNST.
All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. This show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services offered through Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman & Associates, an affiliated company.